next and most important thing is let's get the clevis ready. Okay, so this push rod already came with a nut on it, so I'm going to put the nut about halfway down the threads and then screw the clevis on. Now the clevis already has the silicone tubing keeper on it. I put that on there, and I like a kit or a ARF here that gives you good quality stuff, although I won't call those the best quality. They were okay, those screws here. But I like it when I will only use metal clevises. If I find plastic clevises in a kit, I get rid of them. Substitute them with metal. Okay, so you can see how far the rod is sticking out inside the clevis there, and so that allows me adjustment in and out, which is all that I really want. Now, I think they recommend the middle hole, but let me check. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, reading the manual, it does say the last hole, and they mean by, you can look at the picture, and they mean the top hole of the control horn, spot a T. Okay, so right now I'm going to open the clevis with a small regular screwdriver and put it in the top hole. Okay. There we go. So the clevis is in place. And if you just let the clevis rest, it's on the innermost hole there. I can adjust that, but I don't think I will, because I want the maximum throw. I want to be able to get this flapper on all the way down. So I want the maximum throw there. And that's why the maximum throw here may be good to have too. Because this outer hole doesn't give you the maximum throw. Maybe it does. I'm going to change my mind here and go with the middle hole, because I want a bit more throw than that has. I'm going to go down to the middle hole of the control horn. All right, we're going to see how that works. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop a minute. Temporarily, I want to test how this works. And so before I put the Z-bend in there permanently, I'm going to use a quick connect, and because the quick connect will fit in that hole. And so let me go get a quick connect and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and after some testing, I've figured out what I'm going to do here. I want a larger servo arm here than what those white ones were, and I'm going to go with some servo arms that came with the higher end high-tech servos that I used on my previous airplane. They're the digital high torque or ultra torque servos. Come with this black servo arm. that black servo arm is identical to a Dubro catalog number 674. They call it the super strength servo arm. It comes as a tree like this. I'm going to use this one on the top and bottom here, and it fits the servo fine. Okay, so you can, if you don't have any larger servos, you can just buy this Dubro super strength servo arm, and it'll fit fine on the servo, the 485 servo. I had thought about actually using the high torque servo for this because it is a acting as a flap, but I think the 83 ounces of torque on this will work okay. So I'm going to use the I'm going to use this longer width servo arm, have the clevis in the middle hole of the control horn, and when you do that, let me show you what happens. You get a really good throw of the aileron, okay, and then for the flap, that's down to like 90%, and you still have plenty of room for aileron control with the flap down. So I'm going to set the flap position 2 to 90%. Yeah, 90%, and the takeoff flaps, I might move that up a little bit. I might move that up to, let's see, about not half, but let's say 40%. So 40% for takeoff flaps, 90% for landing flaps, and that's 90%, that's 40%, that's flaps up, and the flap is 0 here. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm using a Great Plains Pushrod connector in this. You can see it right there. And I think I'm going to continue to use that rather than the Z-bend, because in case I change my mind later on, I don't want to have to replace this because the Z-bend might be wrong. So I'm just going to use that. I've used these successfully on all kinds of airplane, including this size nitro-powered airplane. They'll work fine. So I'm going to use this instead of the Z-bend, and that requires a 3/32 hex to tighten up, and that's good and tight. So now that everything's centered, I'm going to put the screw back in place in the center of the servo arm. Do not forget this. You don't want to be out there with a servo arm and no screw in it, believe me. I actually did that one time. It was on an aileron, fortunately, and the aileron quit working, but I had rudder and it worked fine. As long as you got an aileron working or a rudder working, you can land the airplane. If it's on the elevator, you probably lost the airplane. Okay, so that's in good shape. I probably won't cut this off. I could cut it off an inch or so, but that's going to be fine. And so the flaps are working full down. The aileron still works, even in the flap full down position. And take off, and flaps up are even here and here. And so that servo is now in place. I will do the same thing to the other wing. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for the next video.